Another massive drone attack on targets on Russian territory last night seems to have led to another serious result. An explosion has occurred in a Russian weapons depot. According to unofficial information, it belongs to the 150th Mechanized Motorized Rifle Division, parts of which are fighting in one of the hottest sectors of the front in Ukraine, the Kurakhove sector. Russian media also report that last night, a Russian ammunitions warehouse in Novocherkassk, Rostov region was hit. Nice fireworks. The vampire drone, Baba Yaga, from Ukraine's 3rd Assault Brigade, takes apart Russian fortifications in the Kharkiv region. In recent months, Ukrainian forces have demonstrated resilience in defending the Kharkiv region against Russian offensives. In May 2024, Russian troops initiated a significant offensive in Kharkiv Oblast, aiming to breach Ukrainian defenses near Vovchansk and Kharkiv city. Despite initial advances, Ukrainian units, including the 13th Khartia Brigade, effectively repelled these attacks. Near Kupiansk, Ukrainian forces destroyed a Russian armored group. The attack involved 5 vehicles, 2 tanks, and 3 BMPs with infantry, spotted early by aerial reconnaissance. As the infantry dismounted, Ukrainian drone pilots struck the column, destroying BMPs and tanks beyond repair. Russian troops fled to a forest strip, where they were eliminated. As a result of the cooperation of various units, the Ukrainian Defense Forces neutralized 100 invaders in the Kupiansk sector using attack drones and FPV. The 1st Presidential Operational Brigade, named after Hetman Petro Doroshenko Burevy of the National Guard of Ukraine, published the video. It's the 3rd time we've reached -100. This time with even more drive, to the rhythms of the Ukrainian background music and hidden surprises throughout the video, the brigade shared. It is reported that this operation was made possible by the joint efforts of the 1st Presidential Operational Brigade, named after Hetman Petro Doroshenko Burevy, and other units of the Ukrainian Defense Forces. In particular, the Unmanned Strike Aviation Systems Battalion Achilles of the 92nd Assault Brigade, Ivan Serko, the Omega Group of the National Guard, the 105th Prince Vladimir the Great Border Guard Detachment, and the Luhansk Border Detachment Revenge. The published video shows a selection of enemy infantry defeats carried out with the help of attack drones and kamikaze drones. This allows us to verify the Russian invaders' claimed destruction. Russian troops are extremely active in the Kupiansk sector, using both mechanized and infantry assaults. At the same time, the attacks are taking place both in the direction of Kupiansk and Kolesnikivka. For example, during the 3rd week of December, the 14th Mechanized Brigade fought off 2 Russian mechanized assaults near Kupiansk. The 1st Presidential Operational Brigade, named after Hetman Petro Doroshenko Burevy, along with other units, is stopping enemy attacks in the area of Kolesnivka village and sometimes even regaining previously lost ground. German Defense Minister Pistorius does not exclude that Russia may attack NATO territory in a few years. Speaking to the Funky Media Group newspapers, he said, "By 2029 or 2030, Putin could arm Russia enough to be able to attack NATO." Boris Pistorius suggested that Russia may test NATO unity in the next several years by attacking one or another area of the alliance's territory. The minister also mentioned the current hybrid warfare that Putin is waging against Germany. Attacks on infrastructure and energy supply, sabotage in the North and Baltic Seas, violations of regulations in airspace, and social media campaigns are all part of Putin's strategy to unsettle and break down our society, Pistorius said. He warned not to ignore this threat. A Russian column, under an USSR flag, driving towards Ukrainian positions. According to Ukrainian military sources, the attack was repelled. The car with the USSR flag was given a special treatment. Battle scenes from the Kharkiv region by the Kastush-Kalinowski Regiment, a military formation within the armed forces of Ukraine, formed by Belarusian volunteers. Despite facing challenges, including artillery shelling and airstrikes, Ukrainian defenders have maintained control over Kharkiv city and surrounding areas. The Kastush-Kalinowski Regiment is a Belarusian volunteer military unit formed in March 2022 to defend Ukraine against Russian aggression. Named after 19th century Belarusian national hero Kastush Kalinowski, The regiment operates within the armed forces of Ukraine. Initially established as a battalion, it expanded to regimental status by May 2022, reflecting its growth and the increasing number of Belarusian volunteers joining its ranks. The regiment comprises multiple battalions, including Litvin, Volat, and Kostyushka, each contributing to various operational roles. The regiment has been actively involved in key battles throughout the conflict, such as the defense of Kyiv, the Battle of Irpin, and operations in eastern Ukraine, including the battles of Severodonetsk, Lysychansk, and Bakhmut. Their motto, "First Ukraine, then Belarus," signifies their commitment to Ukraine's defense and their aspiration for a democratic Belarus. Operating under the command structure of the Ukrainian Armed Forces, the regiment maintains a degree of autonomy, allowing it to preserve its unique identity and objectives. Six dead dolphins were found washed up on the shores of Novorossiysk, according to Russian telegram channels. The likely cause is the Volgoneft fuel oil spill, which poses a serious threat to marine life in the region. The Black Sea is home to 3 species of sea mammals: the bottlenose dolphin, common dolphin, and harbor porpoise, all of which are classified as endangered. Meanwhile, in Russian-occupied Kerch, the cleanup efforts for the mazout spill are reportedly being carried out solely by volunteers. Despite the spill reaching the Crimean coast yesterday, local occupation authorities and emergency services have yet to respond to the environmental disaster. Protests in Georgia against the reversal of the country's pro-European course continue for over 3 weeks now. After a brief pause, the protesters took to the streets en masse again on December 21st. One of the main demands is the recall of the parliamentary elections that the pro-Russian Georgian Dream Party won. The ODIHR OSCE monitoring mission noted a combination of voter intimidation, media bias, unequal conditions, and violations of ballot secrecy during the elections, which did not meet fundamental democratic standards or OSCE commitments necessary for free and fair elections. The opposition believes that this official conclusion creates grounds to host re-election. Last night, people in Tbilisi performed the Kurumi war dance, a traditional dance of the Ajara region that calls forth the spirits of Georgian fighters of the past centuries. The dance reminds us that in order to have peace, one must be ready for war.